Commander Elena Soto stood at the viewport of the starship Esperanza, watching as the new planet loomed into view. It was a jewel of blue and green, orbiting a sun not unlike Earth's. After decades drifting through the void, humanity's remnants had found a potential home. "Begin landing protocols," Elena ordered. Around her, the bridge buzzed with a mix of excitement and trepidation. The Esperanza was the last of Earth's great colony ships, carrying the final survivors of a world ravaged by environmental collapse and conflict. As the ship descended, sensors scanned the planet's surface. Breathable atmosphere, abundant water, and vegetation, reported Dr. Malik, the chief scientist. "It's everything we hoped for." "Any signs of life?" Elena asked. "Nothing sentient detected," Dr. Malik replied. "We're alone." The landing was smooth, the ship settling in a vast meadow dotted with unfamiliar flowers. The colonists disembarked, setting foot on the new world with a mix of relief and awe. Children laughed as they ran on open ground for the first time in their lives. Weeks passed as the colony took shape. Prefabricated habitats sprang up, crops were planted, and exploration teams ventured further from the landing site. Spirits were high, until the first discovery. "Commander, you need to see this," said Lieutenant Chen over the comms. His voice was tight with unease. Elena joined the exploration team at the base of a mountain range. Before them stood the ruins of a city, towering structures of metal and glass, now overgrown with alien vines. The architecture was hauntingly familiar. "This can't be," Elena whispered. It's like Earth." The team moved cautiously through the abandoned streets. Statues adorned the plazas, statues of humans. Inscriptions on the walls were in a language nearly identical to English. Dr. Malik examined a rusted sign. "This defies all logic," he said. "How could a civilization so much like ours have existed here?" They entered what appeared to be a library. Dust-covered books lined the shelves, their titles readable. History of the Human Empire, Advancements in Space Travel, The Downfall. Elena picked up a book and flipped through its pages. The images depicted were of Earth, its continents, its people, its skyscrapers. Her heart pounded. "Is this some kind of simulation? An elaborate hoax?" "Commander," shouted Lieutenant Chen from another room, "you need to see this." They gathered around a massive mural spanning the wall. It illustrated a timeline of events, a golden age, followed by expansion into the stars, wars, environmental decay, and finally, a mass exodus. The last image was of colony ships leaving the planet, the very same design as the Esperanza. "This civilization mirrored our own," Dr. Malik said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Or perhaps it was our own." Elena's mind raced. Are we descendants of a previous cycle? Did humanity originate here and migrate to Earth? Or is time not as linear as we thought? As they delved deeper, they found technology far beyond their own. Devices that hinted at time manipulation, interdimensional travel, and other concepts they could scarcely comprehend. "Commander, over here," called a young technician, Maria. She stood before a dormant machine emitting a faint hum. "I think it's some kind of archive." Elena placed her hand on the console. Suddenly, holographic images flickered to life, surrounding them with scenes of the planet's last days. A figure appeared, an elderly man in a lab coat. "If you are seeing this," the recording began, "then we have failed to break the cycle. Our civilization has risen and fallen countless times across the cosmos. We migrate, we rebuild, but the pattern repeats. You are us, and we are you." The team exchanged stunned glances. Our only hope, the hologram continued, is for future generations to find the truth and alter our destiny. The key lies within the core. The core, Elena repeated. What does that mean? Before they could ponder further, the ground shook violently. Alarms sounded from their communicators. Commander, this is base camp. Seismic activity is off the charts. Evacuate immediately, Elena ordered. They raced back to the colony, where chaos had erupted. The planet itself seemed to be reacting to their presence. The sky darkened as fissures opened in the ground. Get everyone back on the Esperanza, Elena commanded. We need to get off this planet now. As the ship ascended, they watched in horror as the planet's surface cracked and shifted. From space, they saw the unimaginable, a massive structure emerging from beneath the crust, encasing the planet like a mechanical shell. What is that? Maria gasped. Dr. Malik's face was ashen. It's a Dyson sphere, or something even more advanced. This planet isn't just a world, it's a construct. Elena felt a chill run down her spine. Set a course away from here. We need time to think. But as they attempted to engage the engines, the ship lurched to a halt. Commander, we're caught in a gravitational field, Lieutenant Chen reported. It's pulling us back. Systems began to fail one by one. The holographic figure reappeared on their monitors. You cannot escape, it said. The cycle must continue. Why are you doing this? Elena shouted at the image. To preserve what is left, the figure replied. Integration is necessary. The crew scrambled to override the systems, but it was futile. The Esperanza was drawn back toward the planet, now glowing with an unnatural light. Elena looked at her crew. Fear and determination etched on their faces. We won't let it end like this, she declared. There has to be a way. As the ship descended uncontrollably, a blinding light enveloped them, then everything went dark. Elena awoke to the sound of alarms. She was back on the Esperanza, but something was different. The bridge was pristine, the crew at their stations. Commander, Lieutenant Chen said, turning to her with a smile. We're approaching the new planet. Time to prepare for landing. She stared at him in disbelief. What's going on? Dr. Malik approached. Are you feeling all right? You've been under a lot of stress. Elena looked out the viewport. The same blue-green planet filled the screen. Her mind raced with fragments of memories, the ruins, the hologram, the planet consuming them. Commander? Maria asked gently. Elena took a deep breath. Begin landing protocols, she said cautiously. As the ship descended, she noticed subtle differences. A mountain range that wasn't there before, cloud formations that seemed eerily familiar. Any signs of life? She asked, her voice wavering. Nothing sentient detected, Dr. Malik replied, just as before. Elena's heart pounded. Were they trapped in a loop? Had the cycle restarted? Determined, she turned to her crew. Prepare an exploration team, and this time, we're changing the script. They looked at her in confusion, but trusted her leadership. As they landed and began to set up the colony, Elena secretly recorded her memories and hid the data where only she could find it. If the cycle were to reset again, perhaps this breadcrumb would lead them to a different path. Days later, the ruins were discovered once more. This time, Elena was ready. We need to find the core, she told her team. The core? Dr. Malik asked. What are you talking about? It's our only hope to break free, she insisted. As they delved into the depths of the ruins, the planet began to react violently again. But Elena pressed on, leading her team to a chamber pulsating with energy. In the center stood a device, a swirling mass of light and machinery. "This must be it," she said. "Commander, we don't know what it does," Maria cautioned. "We have no choice." Elena reached out and touched the core. A surge of energy coursed through her, and visions flooded her mind. Countless lifetimes, endless cycles of rise and fall, all converging on this moment. With a newfound understanding, she activated the core. The ground steadied, the skies cleared, and the oppressive force holding them diminished. Back on the Esperanza, systems came back online. "We're free of the gravitational field," Lieutenant Chen reported, astonished. Elena smiled wearily. "Set a course for open space. It's time to find our own destiny." As the ship soared away, she couldn't shake the feeling that their journey was just beginning, that the true nature of humanity was more complex than they could have ever imagined. But for the first time, the cycle was broken. Or so she hoped. Far behind them, the planet's artificial shell retracted, and a distant unseen presence observed the departing ship. "Integration aborted," a mechanical voice intoned. "Initiate contingency plan." Somewhere in the vastness of space, stars began to align in unnatural patterns, forming a path. The Esperanza continued its voyage, unaware that the questions of humanity's origins and its future were far from answered.